Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever really stopped to consider that like every action you take, every choice, especially how you interact with people, maybe it carries this, I don't know, invisible kind of energetic signature, something that ripples out way beyond just the immediate moment.
Hmm.
And what if there's this really deep, almost scientific link between the quality of your generosity, how you give, and, well, the actual fabric of your future? You know, your relationships, your prosperity, even your inner peace.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're diving into.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that. We're exploring not just, the act of giving, but the incredible wisdom that's embedded in how we give.
Mhm.
We're kind of going to challenge that idea that giving is just about handing over material things and look
Right.
at it more as this transformative force. So I guess the question for you listening is, have you ever wondered if there's a deeper science to giving? Something beyond just the immediate back and forth?
And it's precisely that deeper science, as you called it, that's so fascinating here.
Yeah.
Our deep dive today, it's really built on these timeless insights from an ancient Buddhist text. It's called the Sappurisadānasutta,
Okay.
which, translates roughly to the Discourse on Noble Giving.
Noble giving. Okay.
Yeah, and this text, it's really quite remarkable.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't just offer these like vague, nice ideas. It actually lays out what it calls the fivefold path of noble giving.
Fivefold path. Got it.
Exactly. And the crucial thing is, it connects the specific quality of how we give, our generosity directly to these really tangible, visible outcomes in our lives.
Wow. Okay. So like real results.
Real results, yeah.
Yeah.
It shines a light not just on the positive things, but it actually details how certain ways of giving can reverse specific kinds of suffering.
Reverse suffering. That's huge.
It is. So our mission, really, for this deep dive is to pull out the most important nuggets from this ancient wisdom. We want to understand how these specific ways of giving can profoundly shape your prosperity, your relationships, your well-being, even the security of your life, actually.
Okay.
We'll be focusing on how these generous actions lead to clear positive outcomes.
Right.
But just as importantly, how a lack of generosity or maybe giving with a, let's say, poor quality or attitude can actually contribute to suffering. And it's all seen through the lens of these karmic principles. The text even brings in this concept called vipaka.
Vipaka.
Yeah, vipaka. It basically means the karmic result or the fruit of your actions. And it talks about this fruit ripening, not just, right now in this lifetime,
Oh, wow.
but potentially in future lives too.
Yeah.
So it's hinting at this really long-term cyclical kind of impact that goes way beyond what we normally perceive.
That's a really powerful promise then, like a practical guide almost to shaping your own destiny just through the way you give.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
So the Buddha in this Sappurisadānasutta, he declares these 5 kinds of noble giving, the Sappurisadāna. And what we're going to explore, as you said, is that the big idea isn't just what you give or even how much. It's the quality and the attitude behind it. That's what really matters deeply, and that's what determines the karmic fruit, the vipaka.
Precisely. It's about the intention.
Right. So what does this all mean for us, right here, right now, trying to navigate our lives? Let's break down each of these 5 aspects of noble giving. Sounds good.
Sounds great. Yeah, it's really about understanding the subtle but really powerful mechanics behind every single act of generosity.
Okay.
So the first type of noble giving, and you could argue it's kind of the foundation for all the others, is Sahayadanadeti,
Sadhanadeti.
which translates to giving with faith.
Giving with faith. Okay, that sounds, incredibly profound, but maybe a little abstract for some people. What does that actually mean? Is it just like believing in God or a higher power, or is there something more universal there?
Yeah, good question. It's actually much deeper than just, blind belief in some deity. At its core, giving with faith here means having this strong, really unwavering conviction in the Dhamma.
The Dhamma.
Yeah, the Dhamma. Not just as like a set of teachings you read in a book, but as the universal natural law of how things work.
Okay, like principles.
Exactly.
Right.
Principles. It's faith in karma. The principle of action and its consequences.
Right. Karma.
Yeah, karma. And faith in the vipaka, that fruit or result we talked about, that comes from wholesome actions.
Got it.
And this faith, it isn't supposed to be naive or, just accepted blindly. The text says it arises from something called yoniso manasikara.
Yoniso manasikara. Bit of a mouthful.
It is. It basically means wise reflection or skillful attention. paying attention in the right way.
Okay. Wise reflection.
Yeah. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, like you were saying, it's not about just following some dogma blindly. It's actually a really profound purification of your own intention. And it's rooted in understanding these universal principles. So when you give with this kind of faith, it actively starts to uproot doubt and cynicism within you.
Okay, I see.
And it energizes your generosity with this genuine inner joy. Why? Because you trust the process. You trust that good actions lead to good results.
Right.
And it's not just about trusting in like external results later on. It's also trust in your own ability to grow spiritually, to cultivate your own inner well-being through the very act of giving itself.
Ah, okay, so the giving itself is part of the growth.
Exactly. It's this affirmation that generosity isn't some kind of drain on you, but it's actually a source of inner growth and positive transformation. You believe in the goodness of the act itself.
So it's this deep-seated inner conviction, then, that the act of giving, it's inherently beneficial, and that your effort, your intention, it will yield positive results, not just for the person receiving, but for you too, as the giver. It's like a trust in the effectiveness of the whole process.
You got it. That's it.
And the text, it gets really specific about the karmic result, the vipaka, for this kind of giving, right? It says, wherever the result of that giving ripens, the individual receives attractive appearance and high esteem.
That's the specific fruit mentioned.
That's just fascinating, isn't it? How an internal state like faith translates into such visible external benefits like appearance and esteem.
It is fascinating, and the text frames it quite directly. It suggests this isn't just some general good feeling, but a very specific counteraction or reversal to a particular kind of suffering.
And the suffering it specifically reverses, it says, is being born with deformities, ugliness, or poor social status. Wow. That's a really stark contrast, isn't it?
It is. It's quite direct.
So, okay, let's try and bring this into our world today, our everyday interactions. How does this inner faith, this unwavering belief in the positive nature of your actions, how could that actually translate to more confidence, more respect, and just, normal social situations? This is where it gets really interesting for us today, I think. Imagine embodying that inner trust, right? Not worrying constantly about the outcome, but just acting from this place of genuine conviction in the goodness of your intentions. Could that visibly change how other people perceive you?
Oh, absolutely it could. I mean, think about it. When you give or just act with this kind of quiet assuredness that what you're doing is aligned with, these wholesome principles of well-being.
Yeah.
That confidence, it just sort of emanates from you, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you can often feel it in people.
Exactly. It reflects in your posture, how you carry yourself,
Yeah.
your expressions, your tone of voice, the whole vibe of your interactions, really. And people, consciously or not, they're drawn to that inner strength, that conviction, that sort of self-assurance. And this isn't about like superficial beauty trends or being popular for shallow reasons. The text seems to be pointing to a deeper, more fundamental kind of radiance that comes from within.
Okay, an inner radiance.
Yeah. When you give with faith, you're not really looking for external validation, right? You're operating from this internal wellspring of confidence. And that naturally fosters an environment where you are held in higher esteem, not just because of what you might give, but because of the genuine faith and integrity that people sense behind your generosity.
Right. It's the how, not just the what.
Precisely. It's about cultivating an inner state that makes you, well, attractive and respected, not just on the surface, but fundamentally, on a really deeply human level. Think about someone you know who truly believes in the good they're doing, whether it's volunteering or their work or just how they treat people. They carry themselves differently, right?
Yeah, totally.
And that confidence, that inner alignment, it becomes inherently attractive.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's like a holistic kind of attractiveness and esteem that starts from the inside out rather than just, putting on nice clothes or something.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's giving with faith. Really powerful starting point. Let's move to the second type of noble giving then. This is Sappurisadānasutta.
Which you translated as giving respectfully and properly.
Ah.
So this sounds like it goes beyond just, being polite or having good manners when you hand something over.
Oh, it absolutely does, yeah. When the text says respectfully and properly, it means much more than just basic reverence for the person receiving. It implies giving in a really organized way, thoughtfully prepared, planned ahead even.
Planned ahead. Interesting.
Yeah, it implies that the act of giving is maybe discussed, decided upon mindfully, not just done impulsively or carelessly. It's done with full presence. The text uses the word sati, which means mindfulness.
Mindfulness, okay.
And it's free from carelessness or haste or indifference. It's really not just about the gift itself, but the whole process, the presentation, right down to the small details.
Okay, so it's really about the intention, the care, the energy you put into the act of giving. Like you said, not just, I don't know, tossing something over your shoulder or clearing out old junk you don't want anymore, not just decluttering.
But really considering the presentation, maybe the wrapping, if it's a physical gift. The thought that went into choosing it, even the timing and the way you actually present it.
Exactly, all of that. The mental dimension here is absolutely crucial. It reflects deep care, real attentiveness, and a high degree of mindfulness. When you give like that, you're subtly communicating something important.
What's that?
You're communicating that you see the recipient as worthy of your best effort.
Yeah.
And that you see the act of giving itself as something kind of sacred, not just a mundane transaction.
Mm-hmm. Sacred.
Yeah. It's not rushed. It's not done grudgingly. And it's definitely not done with indifference. And it kind of raises an important question for us to maybe reflect on. What does it say about our internal state when we give carelessly or without much thought? The text implies that a chaotic or indifferent mind reveals a deep lack of respect, both for the recipient, maybe, but also for the sacred nature of generosity itself.
Mm-hmm.
So true dana, true giving in this sense, it's an act of internal dignity and self-respect, just as much as it's an external offering.
Internal dignity, I like that.
It's about honoring that connection between the giver and the receiver with real intentionality.
That's really powerful. Yeah, it's like a reflection of your own inner order and respect projected outwards into your actions. But okay, let me throw a scenario at you. What if someone puts in all this effort, their thoughtfully prepared gift, or maybe an act of service, it's still received poorly, or maybe it's completely misunderstood? Does the text give any guidance on, managing those external reactions? Or is the focus purely on the internal state of the person giving?
That's a really excellent practical point. And the sutta, the text, it consistently emphasizes the giver's internal state and intention above all else.
Oh, okay.
So, while obviously we can't control how someone else reacts, focusing on the purity and the respect in our own act, that's what safeguards our own karma, our own result.
Ah, okay. So the result for the giver isn't dependent on the thank you note, basically.
Exactly. It's not contingent on the recipient's immediate appreciation or lack thereof. It's dependent on the wholesome volition, the intention behind the act.
Yeah.
That's what matters karmically for the giver.
Okay. That clarifies things.
Yeah.
And the karmic result for this one, for respectful giving, it's incredibly significant for our relationships, isn't it? The text says, wherever the result of that giving ripens, the individual receives an obedient, loving family and respectful community.
Wow, that seems like a direct antidote to so much modern suffering around relationships and family breakdown.
It's presented exactly like that, a direct antidote. The text implies that this specific kind of respectful giving directly reverses suffering, like having a broken family, abusive relationships, or just feeling ignored or disrespected by others.
Mm-hmm.
It's setting up this direct karmic correlation. By valuing others and by valuing the act of giving itself with respect, you cultivate an environment, eventually, where you are valued in return. So, okay, bring it back again. What does this all mean for our relationships today if we take this seriously? I mean, imagine the difference it could make if every act of giving, whether it's a birthday gift for your kid or helping a neighbor move, or even just sharing your time and attention fully with a loved one, imagine if it was infused with this level of respect and intention.
Yeah, the impact would be huge.
It feels like it would build trust, right? Cultivate mutual appreciation, lay the foundation for genuinely strong, respectful bonds, not just within our immediate families, but maybe spreading out through our communities too. It's like creating a relational fabric that's actually supportive and harmonious and built on mutual esteem rather than, obligation or carelessness.
It's absolutely about the quality of the interaction, yes.
Yeah.
And how that quality shapes the future trajectory of the relationship. When you approach giving with that kind of meticulous care and mindfulness, you're training your own mind, aren't you? You're training your mind to be respectful and attentive in all your interactions, not just when you're giving something. And that naturally spills over into your family life, your friendships, your community connections. It fosters an environment where you are, in turn, more likely to be valued and loved and respected.
Yeah, I can see that.
Think of, say, a parent who consistently gives to their child with deep respect and thought. Not just buying them stuff, right? But maybe thoughtfully preparing experiences or listening really attentively, making quality time. That child is much more likely to grow up being respectful and loving in return, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it makes intuitive sense.
It's like a self-reinforcing cycle of positive relational karma.
Yeah.
And the text suggests this pattern can even extend across lifetimes.
Wow. Okay, the ripple effect of mindful, respectful giving seems immense then. All right, let's move on to the third kind of noble giving. This one is kalina danadati,
Kalina danadati.
which is giving at the right time. Now, my first thought goes to, like, birthdays or holidays, but I suspect it means more than just waiting for a specific date on the calendar or a special occasion.
Oh, much more. Yeah. Its expanded meaning goes way beyond just situational timing, although that's part of it. Like, giving food during a famine or aid when someone's ill or making offerings on a traditional ritual day. Those count.
Okay.
But crucially, it also includes inner timing.
Inner timing, what's that?
It means giving when your own mind is uplifted, alert, ready to act generously. It means not waiting idly for some imagined better moment or a perfect condition that might never actually arrive.
Ah, okay. So less procrastination.
Exactly. It's about cultivating a prompt eagerness to help. Not being bored or lazy about it, not putting off that generous impulse you felt, but being quick to act, seizing the opportunity with genuine self-initiative.
So it's really about responsiveness then, an inner readiness to give when you see a need arise, or maybe even before it's explicitly asked for.
Yes.
It's about noticing and then acting, rather than just deliberating endlessly or getting held back by indecision or second guessing.
Precisely, it's that responsiveness.
But okay, another question. What if someone acts really impulsively thinking, oh, this is timely, but it actually turns out to be unhelpful or maybe even counterproductive? How does the text balance this idea of promptness with, wisdom, making sure it's actually the right help at the right time?
That's a critical nuance, absolutely. And the idea of right time definitely implicitly includes wisdom, which we'll get into more detail with the fifth type of giving, the non-harming one.
Okay.
But focusing here on Kalina, the mental dimension really highlights a mind that is free from delay, free from procrastination, and also free from that subtle kind of stinginess, the Pali word is macharya, that often holds us back from being immediately generous.
Stinginess.
Yeah, that little voice that says, maybe later, or do I really have to? What's fascinating here is how practicing timely giving trains immediacy and responsiveness, not just when giving material things, but potentially in all areas of life.
Okay.
It's about being present, being attuned to the needs around you, whether it's, a friend who just needs a listening ear right now, or a community project that needs volunteers now, not next month.
Right. Seizing the moment.
Exactly. And the deeper insight here is that time isn't just about clock time. It's also about psychological readiness. It's an expression of aroused compassion. The texts call it karunyupati, like a spontaneous welling up of a genuine desire to help.
Karunapate, compassion arising.
Yeah, it's that feeling of, I can help now, and I will, without hesitation or second guessing. And practicing this cultivates a really proactive mindset overall.
That really is a profound shift in perspective, isn't it? It's moving from being reactive to being proactive and responsive. And the karmic result for this one, for timely giving, it sounds incredibly practical for just navigating life's ups and downs. It says, wherever the result of that giving ripens, the individual experiences early life success and timely benefits. That's a direct contrast to what so many people feel they experience.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the commentary explicitly states that this directly reverses the suffering of having a lifetime of late results.
Like what, specifically?
Like, struggling to find a job when others seem to land one easily, or experiencing late marriage when you desire partnership, or constantly feeling like you're missing opportunities or projects that just never seem to take off on time. That feeling of always being behind the curve.
Yeah, that feeling of things always being too late or missing the boat. I think a lot of people can relate to that frustration. So this teaching, it's offering a powerful antidote then.
It is.
It's suggesting that if you develop this timely, responsive nature in your giving, consistently being ready and willing to contribute when the moment is right, it actually fosters a mindset that naturally leads you to seize opportunities and experience timely successes in other areas of your life too.
That's the idea. It's like you're training yourself to be in sync with the flow of opportunity rather than perpetually feeling like you're behind it, always playing catch up. When you're quick to act, quick to respond generously to needs, and your mind is free from that drag of procrastination, That whole energetic pattern starts to translate into your own life experiences. Opportunities arise, and you're actually ready to seize them because you've cultivated that habit of readiness.
Okay.
Your own efforts start to ripen at the right moment, leading to success when it's most beneficial for you, rather than you continually experiencing those frustrating delays or missed chances. It's about cultivating a personal rhythm, you could say, that aligns with timely fruition, where your efforts bear fruit exactly when they're needed.
That's a really appealing idea, aligning with timely fruition. Okay, that brings us to the fourth type of noble giving, anugihita chito danadeti.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is giving with an empathic, supportive mind. This one sounds deeply emotional, maybe, in the best possible way.
Right.
Really focusing on the inner state behind the giving.
It is very much about the inner state.
Yeah.
This means giving while your mind is genuinely uplifted, feeling full of affection, and truly sincerely rejoicing in the act of giving itself. Rejoicing in it, okay.
Yeah, it's not forced, it's not done out of obligation, it's heartfelt. The mental dimension here is absolutely critical. It's rooted in metta, which is usually translated as loving kindness.
Metta, loving kindness.
And it's completely free from any sense of coercion or obligation or guilt. You're not giving because you feel you have to, or because someone pressured you, or because you'll feel bad if you don't.
Right.
And this raises a really important question, maybe the core question for this type of giving. Is your heart truly supporting your hand when you give? Is your mind fully behind the action?
Mm-hmm. Is your heart supporting your hand?
Because, as the commentaries vividly put it, giving without this inner support, this genuine joy and empathy, is like a flower without fragrance.
Wow, flower without fragrance.
It lacks that vital essence, right?
Yeah.
It lacks a truly positive impact beyond maybe the material transfer. And the deeper insight here is that this kind of giving with a genuinely supported, joyful mind, it purifies your satana.
Chaitanya, what's that again?
Satana is volition, intention, the mental impulse or will behind an action. And in Buddhist thought, satana is considered the very root of all karma, all action, and its results.
Okay, so the intention is the root of karma.
Exactly. It's the purity of your intention, the state of your heart behind the action, that truly shapes the karmic outcome.
So hang on, it's not just the action itself then. It's the purity of the inner state behind the action that's really paramount. You're saying that if you give, say, grudgingly, or just out of a sense of duty, or maybe just to look good to others, even if the actual material gift is exactly the same as someone giving with pure joy, the karmic result will be fundamentally different.
That's precisely what the text is asserting, yes.
Because your intention, your satana, isn't pure.
Correct. You've hit on a key aspect there.
Yeah.
The source emphasizes that satana, that volition, is the driving force of karma. If your heart isn't genuinely in it, if you're giving with resentment or reluctance or for show, that underlying negative or neutral mental state essentially contaminates the act, karmically speaking. Whereas the purity of your volition, when you give with genuine joy and compassion, that ensures that the karmic fruit, the vipaka, will be wholesome and deeply satisfying. Why? Because you're actively cultivating a mental habit of joy and compassion through the act itself.
That's a really profound observation, especially maybe in our modern world, which can feel very material rich, but sometimes emotionally quite poor.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it specifically about this compassionate giving that cultivates this internal wealth, this mental joy the text talks about? Is it just like a chemical thing in the brain, dopamine hits? Or is the text hinting at something maybe more spiritual or deeper?
Well, modern neuroscience might certainly point to things like dopamine or oxytocin releases when we act kindly, and that's part of the picture, no doubt.
Sure.
But the text seems to be implying something deeper, yes, a fundamental reshaping of your internal landscape, your habitual mental patterns. It's not just a fleeting good feeling, but building a capacity for sustained inner well-being.
Okay. And how does someone who maybe struggles with this, someone who perhaps feels a bit entitled or operates from a scarcity mindset, if I give this away, I won't have enough, how do they begin to cultivate this empathic, supported mind? It sounds nice, but maybe hard to access for some.
That's a very practical question. The traditional advice would be to begin by actively reflecting on the suffering of others maybe, and recognizing our shared humanity, our shared vulnerability.
Okay. Cultivating empathy.
Yes. And also actively cultivating mudita, that's another Pali term meaning sympathetic joy or appreciative joy. Taking genuine delight in the well-being and happiness of others.
So being happy for others' good fortune.
Exactly. And seeing generosity not as a personal loss or depletion, but as an act of shared upliftment. something that benefits everyone involved, including yourself, through the cultivation of these positive mind states. It's really a gradual process of loosening the grip of self-centeredness and starting to experience the profound satisfaction that comes from genuinely wishing others well and then acting on that wish.
Yeah.
And when you give like this, the recipient often feels that genuine warmth and compassion behind the gift, right?
Yeah, you often can.
And that builds really profound positive connections, not just materially, but emotionally and spiritually too.
Okay. And the karmic result for this one, it's maybe the most intriguing, especially given what we see in the world. We often see people who seem to have everything materially, but they still struggle. They seem unhappy, maybe chasing something more, constantly seeking distractions. The text says, for this kind of giving, wherever the result of that giving ripens, the individual experiences mental joy in noble pleasures.
Yes,
Yeah.
mental joy and noble pleasures. And the commentaries directly link this to reversing the suffering of having wealth but misery, addictions, or chronic stress, despite having external abundance.
Wealth but misery, that's a powerful phrase.
It is, and it's a powerful statement about the nature of true contentment, isn't it? It suggests that inner peace isn't just a lucky byproduct of external success, it's a direct result of internal cultivation.
So, okay, what does this mean then for those people who seem to have everything, materially speaking, but still feel unfulfilled or maybe find themselves chasing endless distractions, perhaps addictions, trying desperately to fill some kind of inner void? This teaching points to a totally different kind of wealth, doesn't it? An internal one.
Completely.
It suggests that finding true joy and cultivating empathy in your giving can lead to a much deeper kind of satisfaction, one that actually transcends just having material possessions. And maybe it acts as a kind of safeguard against that emptiness that can sometimes accompany wealth when there's no inner peace, leading to a fulfillment that's more resilient, more profound, and not dependent on constantly changing external circumstances.
That's exactly the implication. Yeah, the source implies that simply acquiring stuff, acquiring material wealth, it does not guarantee happiness. Not at all.
Oh, we see that all the time.
We do. And in fact, the text suggests that without that internal cultivation, without a mind that genuinely rejoices in acts of compassion and generosity, material abundance can actually coexist with or even lead to a deep sense of lack, which then fuels misery, stress, or the constant pursuit of fleeting, ultimately unsatisfying pleasures. But giving with an empathic, supported mind, it cultivates this capacity for deep, lasting joy. Joy that isn't dependent on what happens externally. It builds an inner reservoir of contentment. And that allows you to truly savor what the text calls noble pleasures.
Noble pleasures, like what?
Well, not just physical comforts, although it doesn't exclude them, but also the joy of virtuous living itself, the joy of meaningful relationships, the joy of spiritual growth and understanding. It's about being able to genuinely appreciate and feel sustained by the good in your life, rather than constantly feeling this gnawing need for more.
That's a really crucial distinction. Yeah, it's about the ability to truly enjoy what you have and find satisfaction in these noble pursuits, rather than being constantly driven by external cravings or filling a void.
Okay, this is deep stuff. Finally, let's explore the fifth type of noble giving. This is atananyaka paranya anupahaka danediti.
Yes, quite a phrase again. Atananyaka paranyaka anupahaka danediti.
And it translates to giving without harming self or others. This sounds like the ultimate balancing act, really, requiring wisdom and discernment.
It absolutely is, and the text explicitly says it's rooted in profound wisdom. The Pali word is panya.
Panya, wisdom.
Yeah. This means giving with a really balanced understanding. On one hand, you don't overgive to the point of self-damage or falling into destitution yourself or burning out completely.
Right. Don't drain your own well dry.
Exactly. But it also means you don't give things that were stolen or acquired harmfully or improperly. You ensure the gift itself is wholesome and ethical in its origin.
Okay. Clean giving. Clean giving, yes. And crucially, it also means you don't harm others, either emotionally or materially, through your act of giving.
How might that happen? Harming through giving?
Well, maybe giving with a really condescending attitude that makes the recipient feel bad, or perhaps giving something that inadvertently creates a problem for them, like giving a pet to someone who can't care for it, or maybe giving resources to someone who, or suspect might use them for harmful purposes.
Ah, okay, so it requires real foresight.
It does. It's not just about the giving, but giving intelligently, ethically, and sustainably, Like you said earlier, no robbing Peter to pay Paul, either literally or figuratively.
Right.
It implies this careful consideration of the potential long-term consequences, not just the immediate warm, fuzzy feeling.
Mm-hmm. But how does one navigate that fine line between being generously giving, which we're encouraged to be, and protecting one's own well-being and resources? What counts as self-damage in this context? Is it just financial or more than that?
You've really highlighted the crucial ethical and practical dimension here. And the mental quality underpinning this type of giving is primarily that wisdom, panya, but also
Upekkha.
equanimity, balance, calmness. The mind that practices this discerns the right limits. It understands the potential consequences, both short-term and long-term, of the giving. What's fascinating here is exactly that balance it requires. It's explicitly not about reckless altruism that ends up leading to your own suffering or the suffering of your dependents.
Okay, so self-damage could mean?
It could mean depleting your own resources to the point of genuine hardship, or neglecting the basic needs of your own family because you're giving excessively elsewhere, or sacrificing your physical or mental health in the process of giving. It's really about finding that middle path, that skillful balance.
The middle path again.
Exactly. And then the deeper insight is that dana giving in this context becomes a true middle path. It's a wise approach that steers between the extreme of selfish hoarding on one side and reckless, potentially harmful self-sacrifice on the other.
Yeah.
And the aim is to foster long-term harmony and well-being for everyone involved. Not just a short-term boost to your ego or a fleeting sense of generosity that then leads to personal hardship, burnout, or resentment down the line. It's about generosity that is truly sustainable.
Sustainable generosity, that's a great way to put it. Very practical application of wisdom. It's about nurturing both the giver and the receiver in the long run. Okay, and the karmic result for this wise, balanced giving, it speaks directly to security, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The text says, wherever the result of that giving ripens, the individual finds their wealth secure from theft, fire, water, and betrayal.
Yes. Secure from those four great fears or sources of loss: theft, fire, water like floods, and betrayal by others like rulers, heirs, or partners. And this directly reverses the suffering of experiencing a sudden loss of assets by disaster or betrayal. It points towards the security and stability of your resources, ensuring that what you have rightfully accumulated is protected.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting again for me. The idea that a balanced, wise approach to your generosity can actually safeguard what you have, rather than just depleting it. I mean, in a world full of economic uncertainty, climate change causing more disasters, and sadly, personal betrayals. How literally should we take that promise? Secure from theft, fire, water, and betrayal. Does it mean, like, you get a magic shield, absolute immunity? Or is it pointing to a more subtle form of protection?
Yeah, great question. How literal is it?
And how does responsible, wise giving actually foster the stability, this integrity, this protection for your resources and relationships in a tangible way? It almost sounds like the universe mirrors your own prudent and ethical approach back at you, ensuring the longevity and security of your own well-being.
That's a really insightful way to frame it. The universe mirroring your approach. And I don't think the text is necessarily promising, literal supernatural immunity from every single possible external calamity. That might be stretching it. Instead, it seems to suggest a profound karmic protection that operates on multiple levels, often in quite natural ways. When you consistently act with wisdom and discernment in your giving and by extension, in how you acquire and manage your resources, you're cultivating a mind that anticipates consequences. It avoids unnecessary risks. It operates with integrity. And that mental quality itself translates into a life where your assets, whether they're material assets or relational assets like trust, are inherently more protected.
Can you give an example?
Sure. So for instance, by making sure you don't acquire your wealth through ill-gotten means, which is part of non-harming giving, you avoid planting the karmic seeds that could ripen later as theft, legal trouble, or loss of reputation.
Right, makes sense.
By giving wisely and ethically, you tend to foster trust and goodwill and avoid creating enemies or deep resentment, which naturally reduces the likelihood of betrayal down the line. And by maintaining that personal and financial balance, not overextending yourself, not being reckless, you're inherently less susceptible to making poor decisions that could lead to financial ruin or leave you more vulnerable if some external disaster does strike. It's about building a secure foundation because your actions are inherently aligned with these principles of balance, non-harming, and integrity. You build a life that is just less prone to those sudden catastrophic kinds of loss. because you've acted with foresight and ethical responsibility all along. The protection arises naturally from the way you live and give.
That makes a lot of sense. It's a natural consequence, not necessarily magic. Okay, these 5 types of noble giving, taken together, they really outline a remarkably comprehensive approach to generosity, don't they? Each one has its own unique flavor, its own specific karmic implication. And the text keeps reminding us, whatever the result, vipaka, of that giving ripens, these fruits mature, maybe not immediately, but eventually, maybe even in future lives, yielding these very specific benefits. It really is presented as a long game, isn't it? A profound investment in your own future well-being, both materially and spiritually.
And that's such a crucial point to grasp. The benefits aren't always immediate, maybe rarely are they fully immediate, but the text assures us they are definite, they will ripen. If we connect this back to the bigger picture, this Sappurisadānasutta, it's essentially providing a clear, practical blueprint for transforming negative experiences, what Buddhism calls dukkha, suffering, into profoundly positive outcomes. And not just transforming them materially, but deeply, existentially. It's presented as a genuine antidote to the suffering that arises from our past unwholesome actions, offering a clear path to fundamentally reshape one's lived experience going forward. The text offers these direct remedies for really common human afflictions by tracing their roots back to the quality of our past actions, particularly the quality of our generosity or lack thereof.
So, okay, let's really try and synthesize these insights now. Because, as you said, the source material draws these direct correlations between these 5 types of noble giving and the reversal of specific, often very visible social problems or forms of suffering, things that many of us can probably recognize either in our own lives or in the lives of people around us. This is where it gets incredibly practical, right? Offering tangible, potential solutions to some really deep-seated challenges.
Indeed, it offers a direct causal link, almost like a spiritual or karmic blueprint for transformation. It's quite remarkable in its specificity.
Okay, let's go through them then. Problem and reversal. So problem number 1. Being born with physical deformities, or experiencing what's perceived as ugliness, or maybe struggling with consistently poor social status, that feeling of just being overlooked or undervalued by society. How is that reversed, according to these teachings?
Okay, so that profound challenge, the text says, is directly reversed by practicing the first type. Faithful giving. Giving with saddha. When you give with that deep conviction, that inner trust, the wholesome nature of your actions, the fruit that ripens from that is described as attractive appearance and high esteem. It's like your internal conviction creates this kind of external radiance or magnetism. It naturally draws respect and positive regard from others, not just for superficial reasons, but because they sense your inherent dignity and faith. It's about cultivating an inner beauty that shines outwards.
Okay, inner beauty leading to outer esteem. Got it. And the second common problem, experiencing broken families, or maybe being in abusive relationships, or just feeling consistently ignored, marginalized, unseen by others. What's the specific antidote there?
That pattern of suffering, the sutta suggests, is transformed by the second type, respectful giving, sakkagadana. When you make the effort to give with that meticulous care, attentiveness, and genuine reverence for both the act and the recipient, the result that ripens is an obedient, loving family and a respectful community.
Wow.
You're essentially sowing seeds of respect and consideration with your actions, and the harvest you reap eventually is one of harmonious, supportive, and appreciative relationships. You build a foundation of mutual honor through your own respectful conduct.
Okay, respect given, respect received. Makes sense. Then there's that third persistent problem that many people face. That lifetime of late results we talked about. Always feeling behind, right? No job when you desperately need one, maybe a delayed marriage despite wanting partnership, constantly missing opportunities, feeling stuck in this perpetual state of delay. How do you reverse that frustrating pattern?
That specific pattern is addressed directly by the third type, timely giving, kalinadana. When you seize the moment to give, acting promptly, cultivating that eagerness to help, and consciously not procrastinating on your generous impulses, the result is early life success and timely benefits. You become attuned to the opportune moment, both in giving and receiving, and your own efforts start to ripen precisely when they are most beneficial, allowing you to seize opportunities and experience favorable outcomes at the right time, breaking that cycle of delay.
Okay. Act timely, receive timely benefits. Got it. And the fourth one, which we touched on, but it really bears repeating because it seems so relevant today, even for people who appear successful, experiencing wealth but still feeling miserable, maybe grappling with addictions or suffering from chronic stress and anxiety despite having plenty of material abundance. What reverses that inner hollowness, that deep dissatisfaction?
Right. That profound inner suffering, the text teaches, is healed through the fourth type, compassionate giving, anugahitachitodana, giving with an empathic, uplifted, and genuinely supported mind, giving from the heart. The fruit, the vipaka, is mental joy in noble pleasures. True satisfaction, lasting contentment, it arises from the quality of your heart, from the wellspring of your inner compassion and joy in giving, not just from the quantity of your possessions. This practice teaches you, or allows you to access, deep, lasting contentment that really transcends those fleeting external gratifications.
Mental joy in noble pleasures. Okay. And finally, the fifth problem, which can be absolutely devastating for anyone who experiences it, that sudden, perhaps seemingly random loss of assets. Through disaster like fire or flood or unexpected misfortune, or maybe worst of all, through betrayal by someone trusted. How does this path offer protection against that kind of vulnerability?
This vulnerability is prevented or mitigated, the text says, by the fifth type. Non-harming giving. Giving with wisdom, with balance, without harming yourself or others in the process. The karmic result specified is well secure from theft, fear, water, and betrayal. Your consistent practice of wise, balanced, and ethical generosity creates a kind of protective shield, karmically speaking, around your resources and your relationships. It's a natural reflection of your own integrity, your foresight, and your commitment to non-harming. What really stands out to you here looking at this synthesis, it's quite striking, isn't it?
It really is.
It's not just about, getting more stuff or having a slightly nicer life. It's really about fundamentally transforming these deep-seated, often painful patterns of suffering into enduring well-being. It offers this direct, almost architectural causal link between the quality of your actions, specifically your giving, and the resulting quality of your life. It provides this remarkable roadmap for a truly flourishing existence.
Yeah, it's astounding how specific these karmic results are described, directly addressing some of the core forms of suffering that we experience as human beings. It paints this picture of a really profound system of cause and effect, one that maybe extends far beyond our usual immediate understanding. And it suggests that even our most fundamental challenges in life might be addressed at their root by consciously cultivating our inner states and our outward actions of generosity.
Absolutely. I think that captures it perfectly. This deep dive into the fivefold path of noble giving, it really reveals that true effective giving isn't just about, the material offering itself. It's fundamentally about the intention behind it, the timing of the act, the empathy that infuses one's heart, and the ethics and wisdom that inform the decision in the process. These 5 methods of noble giving, they're explicitly described as ways to purify one's future karmic trajectory, one's future rebirth, according to the tradition, actively reversing the painful results of past unwholesome actions, and consciously setting the stage for a life of greater ease, greater meaning, and greater fulfillment.
So, okay, bringing it right back to you listening. What does this all mean for your life right now? The potential fruit of practicing wise dana, noble giving, it seems to extend far beyond just getting more material wealth. It encompasses things like family harmony, personal attractiveness and dignity, a deep sense of inner peace and joy, and even robust security for the things and people you value most. It really does sound like a holistic blueprint for a flourishing existence, one that definitely transcends the superficial.
It truly is, yeah.
Yeah.
The text isn't just promising, external gains. It's promising a profound transformation of one's fundamental relationship with life itself. It's about cultivating an inner state through these practices of giving that naturally attracts and sustains all forms of well-being, material, relational, emotional, spiritual, leading to a truly satisfying and meaningful existence built from the inside out.
So, maybe here's a final thought to leave you with. Consider this. If the quality of your giving, the faith, the respect, the timeliness, the empathy, the wisdom, if that is truly shaping your destiny, affecting everything from your relationships to your sense of inner joy and even security of your resources, what small shift in intention or maybe in approach could you make today, starting right now? A shift that might ripple outwards into a dramatically different tomorrow.
A small shift.
Maybe it's just trying to give with a little more faith in the inherent goodness of the act itself. Or maybe putting a bit more care and respect into the presentation, even for small things. Or perhaps acting just a bit more promptly on that generous impulse you feel. Or trying to connect with more genuine empathy before you give. Or simply pausing to be a bit more mindful of the potential long-term impact of your generosity, ensuring it doesn't harm you or others. It's a really powerful thought to sit with, isn't it?
It really is.
That every interaction, every contribution, no matter how small it seems, carries this subtle but potentially powerful energetic signature, one that can shape not just the immediate outcome, but maybe the very fabric of your future. So keep exploring how your intention shapes your reality, and perhaps consider how cultivating noble giving could be one of your most powerful tools for positive change.